I was fighting through some demons yesterday.
That's what we're calling
it. Was a case of some bad foods, and we all know how that goes. I was on the struggle bus on the end of Wednesday's show.
Yeah, the look on your face was pure unadulterated fear.
We were white
and when you
knuckling
texted that night, I had no idea that anything was going on towards the end of the show.
Oh, he
Dude,
was
I
sitting
looked
here.
white as a ghost.
Oh, he just kept looking at me like,
ghost.
I'm not gonna make it, dude. I don't think I'm gonna make it. I don't think I'm gonna make it. I don't know how I'm gonna get home.
When these things happen during a show, you don't the show must go on, right? We got to make through this. But I've been on that side of the glass, Rust, where you don't know what's going on, and you see that somebody is going through it on the other side. Like, I remember I was producing Primetime, and there was a moment where Rop's face, he looked at Suk mid-sentence and stopped talking, and his eyes just got big.
Yeah.
And he just got up, and he was clenching his cheeks, and he was swaddling out of that studio.
The old penguin walk.
And I had no idea what was going on, but Suk just carried on like nothing was happening.
Uh-huh.
And then Suk goes to break, and I'm like, what? He's like, oh yeah, he's going through it right now. He's like, these, when you got those demons, you just got to act like nothing's going on, like nothing's wrong. But at one point on Wednesday, I brought up the YouTube to check the old chats there, and I looked at myself. I was like, damn, I look even more pasty than normal. Like, I was
struggle bus was real.
I was like leaning forward. I was going through it, man. So, yesterday was much needed. Started feeling a little bit better. And when I go through those things, you just hope that you don't have the flu and you get other people sick. So, I'm glad that I ruled out, the flu, because the flu is terrible. The flu is awful.
And you have children who bring it around.
And a wife too.
Oh, it's true.
Wife is a teacher. Wife is a teacher.
Yeah, you're just surrounded by it.
Yeah, we go through it. I feel like my immune system is very strong now because of the fact I'm just living in a petri dish. It's something that, I got very sick a lot right when I first started dating and living with my wife, because she was just bringing all these germs home.
And you just weren't used to that level of bacteria.
Yeah. But basically, it's like I've licked a toilet seat my whole life now for the last 14 years. Thanks, wife.
You could go back to the dark ages and be totally fine.
I'm sure she would love the way you phrase that, too.
Yeah. God bless it. And then, so we're back. We went through it, and now I'm back to like normal life stuff, like the holiday season, where my whole morning was thrown off because my son has asked every single person that he knows for Pokemon
to go catch them all. Got to catch them all.
And it's like, I don't even know what Pokemon is. Like, that was not a phase that I was
I never got into it in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
But the like VR / like live tracking. Do you remember the cell phone game that came out?
Oh yeah. He is begging me to download it. I'm like,
So that came out like, I want to say like 2 days before Summer League one year.
Okay.
And I stayed in a house with like, I want to say 25. Like, we had this house, I'm not kidding, looked like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air mansion.
Okay.
And the room that I was in, porn was definitely filmed in at some point in time. Like, there was like track lighting that's like a bed spun around. Yeah, no, it was a lot. But this, buddy, I'll show you some pictures during the break. It is something.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
No, this room was incredible. Like,
I don't need to see any shots of the black light going through there.
You're gonna swipe one picture too far, and I'm not going to like that.
No, this room had track lighting that like moved around and like ambiance. We'll go with.
Okay.
Also had a.
Well, look, if they're renting it out to you, I mean, we know there's been nefarious things that have happened in that home.
Oh, for sure.
Were there hooks screwed into the ceiling too?
This room was. I mean, yeah. It's Las Vegas. The room was quite literally. It was as big as our two rooms put together.
Okay.
It was massive. Had this like built-in kitchen, all this stuff. Sidetrack squirrel. But as late 20-somethings, early 30-somethings are want to do in Vegas, Things were consumed, and we went out into this very, very, very rich gated Las Vegas neighborhood at all hours of the night, tracking Pokemon.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is this the one where people walked around like zombies with their damn phones in front of them?
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Like
not
people were
how...
getting hit by cars and stuff.
Bus. I remember there's a lady got hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Searching for going to get that Pokemon. To wham!
Yeah.
She went down, doing what she loved though.
Yeah.
Searching for those Pokemon.
R.I.P. But I'll tell you what, man. Nighttime in Vegas, like 2-3 in the morning, tracking Pokemon. That's the time to do it because it's you'll see some things.
I bet you will.
You'll see some things. And
There's nothing out there scurrying around at night except for crackheads and Danny looking for Pikachu.
Yeah, Pikachu, not the strangest thing you'll see.
not yet. Yeah, no. Was it Jigglypuff? Not the weirdest thing you'll see. But great. It was like
That sounds like a strip bar name.
Jigglypuff. Oh, for sure. It's also probably a stripper name.
I don't know if that's one that. I don't know if you're wanting to get the champagne room with Jigglypuff.
Well, that's the plus size one.
Yeah.
Hey, look, man. We don't kink shame here.
Yeah.
But yeah, also like 85 degrees when you're doing it like
Yeah,
in the morning.
that's not bad.
Super nice.
So yeah, and now I don't know anything about it. I know nothing. Like I know
I can name like 5.
Pikachu.
I can name Pikachu. That's about it.
That was the name of my old Focus.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Or Charizard, because that's just a cool name.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I know nothing about this, and he's like asking his letter to Santa said, I want every Pokemon in the world.
Look, man, setting the sights high. I like it.
And it was like, but I don't think he can fulfill that order.
Well, cast a wide net, right? That's
But-
what we all thought in our 20s.
Then he asked me, yeah, I mean, duh. I had a buddy who said, you got to slay some dragons to get to the princess. And boy, did he. But he asked Santa for that. He asked us, all of his grandparents. He's just like going just blanket. I want Pokemon. We have no idea. Turns out every damn kid in the area did the same thing. So I'm running all over town like a chicken with my head cut off as I'm trying to find the scraps. Like I can't come up empty-handed here.
Like it's 1984 and you're looking for a Cabbage Patch Kid.
Goodness gracious. I was never made aware that when you become a parent and your kids will do this where they just got one thing on their mind. And you have got to now, like, we're just coordinating. Did we overlap anything? Nope, we're good. I'm at the point where I'm just like, dude, if we overlap with anything, we're good. I'm out.
Just hang on to receipts.
I'm going to multiple targets. Like, I'm just sitting there. I'm grinding for these Pokemons.
I know, but you know what though? You're grinding, but you don't have to. You don't have to go like full like Tickle Me Elmo and fight people over this.
Nah, no.
Which
Well,
I
you
feel
don't
like
have to. But
Hey,
I mean,
thanks,
it's fun.
Amazon.
I feel like we need to bring that back.
Like a Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, like I feel like that like makes you a stronger human.
That is mine.
That's still happening on Black Friday, though, isn't it?
Not as much because it's like so much has gone to Cyber Monday.
So much e-commerce.
Yeah, it's like I feel like that's how we used to thin the herd. You know, just
I
saying.
mean, I'm not opposed to it.
It's sorted the strong from the weak.
I honestly, I didn't know that like Black Friday was still as big of a deal as it is.
It is a big deal, but it's not like.
But now it's stretched out over like a week and a half.
Yeah, we don't even get a mild trampling.
Well, yeah, I went down for Civil War, and I'm not kidding you. On Black Friday, in Woodburn, you had like a mile and a half, 2 miles of the right lane of I-5 was not usable because it was just people trying to get to the outlet malls. They're just all trying to get to the outlet malls in Woodburn. I didn't know that was even a thing anymore, but it sure made traffic. I was.
Or is it the idiots still lining up for? No, never mind. That's in Kaiser. I was gonna say the idiots still lining up for In-N-Out.
No, dude, they got that line dialed in. They got that line dialed in.
Look, that line is still a mile long.
Yeah.
You're not in it more than like 7 minutes.
I saw what they opened one up in Meridian, Idaho the other day.
Oh,
The
it
lines
shut
were
down
8
8
hours
hours.
long. 8 hours. It's like so you're hitting the. So you got to
People
hit
in
the
Idaho
drive-through.
don't got anything better to do.
No.
That's a valid point.
I mean, they're just like, all right.
So, but basically, you got to hit the drive-through before you hit the drive-through.
Yeah.
Meridian, that's where the water park is. Mm-hmm. They're in just outside of Boise.
Yeah. That's on the west
Nampa,
side, on the way in, right?
Meridian, Nampa, Eagle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing.
Yeah. That's Kuna.
Yeah.
That's talking Idaho.
There you go.
That's Idaho geography. But they
God,
look, you can
In-N-Out
wait out
sounds
hours
good.
there.
In-N-Out sounds good today.
Yeah, go make that drive, bro.
I've driven further for it. Significantly.
Have you?
Yeah, I
Really?
back in the day, the closest one was Reading. My dad and I made that trip like once a year.
We would really.
Mm-hmm.
We did that like in college, but we were in Ashland, so it was only an hour and a half. Like we drive the hour and a half, and then we go to the water park. Maybe that's what like the In-N-Out's got a thing, man. Like
Water
they go
parks.
to Meridian where they got the water park there. You got the water park, and we do water park in Reading, and then In-N-Out, and stop at the liquor barn on the way home.
It was it was always like a bonding thing for my dad and I. Like because when I was a kid, you know, like we had zero money, so going to In-N-Out was like
Yeah.
really going out. And so like, when we moved up here and it was so far away, we'd do the road trip, double, animal style.
Okay.
Let's go.
Best like wild hair road trip that you remember.
It was the very first time we went to In-N-Out.
That was it for you?
Because that was quite literally like I looked. I can't remember what happened. I think we might have like moved some boxes and found like an In-N-Out T-shirt. And I was like, oh my God, a double sounds so good. He just like, he looked at me, he's like, want to get one? And I was like, my first thought was like, are we flying to LA?
Are we doing this right now?
And he's like, look, we don't have anything to do this weekend. He was like, you serious? He's like, I'll tell your mom we're going.
I remember the coolest one that I remember was I'll never forget this. I was a kid and I was with my dad, and it was, I'm looking up the game right now because it was one of those games where I remember it so vividly, and it was April 17th, 1991. I remember my dad going, hey, you see that right there? And he pointed at his arm. I'm like, what? He's like, it's a wild hair. And I was like, oh, what does that mean? He's like, you want to go watch the Mariners and the Twins today? And I was like, yes.
Oh,
and we just like got in the car. It was like early in the morning, and we just got in the car. We drove to Seattle. We bought tickets at just right up there. Walk up.
Oh, I like it.
To the ticket window. We were like in the last row at the Kingdome, and we watched like a midweek game, Mariners Twins. And those are the days that I will never. For like days like that, I will never forget. And it was like so cool just to be like, he was like, you're not going to school. My sister had to go to school. Sorry, Hillary. My sister went to school for some reason.
Womp womp.
My dad and I, we went up to the Kingdome, and it was just like spur of the moment. It was like, yep, we're going to do it. We're going to do it, damn it.
See, I was always under the impression that wild hair was not on your wrist and somewhere else.
I don't think my dad was going to show me that.
That's a wild hair you get after you turn 18.
Okay. I don't think my dad was. I don't think that's what it was he was talking about, Jeff.
Okay.
Thanks for ruining that great moment with my father, though. Like for all time.
Yeah, that wild hair that takes you to Jiggles.
Yeah. So I'm waiting for those like a day like that to happen, where I'm just gonna be like, I'm taking him. We're gone. We're gonna go do this damn thing.
I like it
because that's like those are where memories. Core memories are made there.
I had one of those with a family friend who took me to my first Raiders game.
Ah, there you go. See, we all have those.
It was like, do you want to go?
Yeah,
like
you want to go?
He was going with one of my dad's friends, and he couldn't go, and he just looked at me and was like, "Huh?
You in?" Yeah, man.
Like, in the moment.
Russ is like, yeah, my dad did that. I got to sit and watch him do a root canal.
Yeah, we never just had like the random like spur of the moment road trip.
Do those things with your kids though.
Yeah.
Like just say, hey, we're out. We're gonna go do something cool, and you get to skip school, play a little hooky.
So usually with us, it'll be like on a Friday afternoon, be like, hey, you guys feel like going to the beach?
Yeah, well,
yeah,
that's
so, I mean,
cool.
you know, yeah,
that's still a
go
good
to
one.
Manzanita.
Well, it is, but yeah, you know, it's we're fortunate we can, you know, we get to do it a lot.
I did it a lot in high
like
school.
A random one, you know what I mean?
I did it a lot in high school.
Yeah,
like I looked at a friend and was like, hey, do you want to not go to class today and go to the beach?
See, boom, boom. All right. Hey, you spoke of the Raiders.
Yeah,
we had
America's team.
No. In fact,
America.
we need to address this because Sin City destroyed another relationship yesterday. Danny Dusty on the Fan.
get fired. Get fired in Vegas.
Well, they didn't. They took him home and fired his ass this morning.
He got fired last night, right? It's official today, but they left him in Las Vegas.
Here is Brandon Staley, who loses his job as a head coach after 2 2/3 of a season.
Sure, yeah, it's 11 games this year.
24-24, his all-time record.
Hey, there you go.
This goes just like with every single Chargers stat about like, hey, since Justin Herbert entered the league, they have the most yards, and it's the exact same number of yards
they've given
allowed. Like points. I think that point stat is changing dramatically.
Yeah, no, it's off by about 42 now.
Boy, that was a ass whooping that the Raiders handed down to the Los Angeles Chargers. And there's a lot that kind of you can look at and can go into that. I've been saying this for a few weeks now, and it was so apparent just last weekend when you saw the look on Brandon Staley's face. Like they were
staring into the void.
Well, there were calls that were being made, and he'd be like, "What is that?" Like when they lost to the Broncos, he was just like throwing up his hands, like, "I don't even know what is happening out here. How are my guys even doing this?" And when you get that look on a coach's face, it's like, "Uh-oh, this is the end." And the way that game started last night on Thursday Night Football, it was one of the your team has quit on you games of all time. 21-0 after the first quarter. And you're like, can't get much worse. Watch it. Because another 21 put up on you in the second quarter. At halftime, the score was 42-0. And the Chargers had not even crossed midfield. They did not cross midfield in the first half.
It's hard to do that when you turn the ball over that much.
It was and you feel for Easton Stick, because Easton Stick was going through what Justin Herbert went through before he got hurt. And like when we were talking about Herbert did not play well before he got hurt last week. It's impossible to play quarterback when your offensive line is playing Ole. They were matadors. They're not offensive linemen right now. They're just watching guys just run right at your quarterback. And you see with the fumbles, the rushed throws, you're just sitting there just winging it off your back foot.
I'd love to see
nothing you can do.
A football moment, break out into a little bit of a soccer moment and get a ole, 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 ole.
Okay, that's exactly what was happening.
Just troll the living hell out of your own team.
You had Stick loses 2 fumbles. Josh Kelly loses a fumble. Darius Davis, their return man, where it was like, this game can't get any. Yes, it can. He fumbles on that punt, and then, boom, they're back in the end zone yet again. Whoop. If it could go wrong, it did go wrong for the Chargers last night. And that ultimately looked like a team that had quit on their coach, and they finally said, this is the straw that breaks the camel's back. Because, as you said, the Raiders, America's team,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to spin this on you, sir.
Go on.
When you give up 63 points
mm-hmm.
to a team that did not score the week before,
mm-hmm.
that level of embarrassment mm-hmm. is so much that even cheap-ass Dean Spanos could not see anymore and said, no mas.
You know what's funny is all I see is that the Raiders in the last 2 weeks are averaging 31.5 points a game.
That's right. That's right. After a 3-0 pillow fight against the Vikings.
I think after not scoring more than 30 points in a single game all season. Yes, the last 2 they're averaging 31.5.
The over hit at halftime, and it was all the Raiders. The over was 40, and the Raiders had 42.
Oh boy!
At the half.
Oh boy!
I mean, and don't. Whoever it was that texted into the show yesterday asked me about taking the over, the under. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I looked at this and said, Easton Stick, Josh Jacobs out, Aiden O'Connell still the quarterback, not great, Bob. I'd stick with the under.
Turns out Aiden O'Connell can be okay when 4 of his scoring drives are starting on the other side of the 50-yard line. Even Aiden O'Connell can get you some points out of that. That was
Jacoby Myers. They let Jacoby Myers throw the ball twice.
What is interesting about like all of this is that, do you remember like when Brandon Staley started, like his aggressive, like it started with his aggressiveness, right? Mm-hmm. Going for it on 4th down, backfiring just spectacularly on him. But it was, hey, this is the new age coach, right? This is the guy who's going to be ultra aggressive. This is going to be the guy that the players are going to buy into, and they did. But you saw that all of that goodwill that he got in that first year when they went 10-7 or 10 was it 10-7 or 10-6 that went that first 9-8 they went the first year. They went 9-8 his first year, and everybody's like, hey, he's going to get this team to turn the corner. You saw that starting to erode last year when they were 10-7 and they made the damn playoffs. But really where Brandon Staley got fired, it was when they blew a 27-point lead to the Jags in the playoffs.
We talked about that when that happened. There's zero way he should be coming back.
He lost that locker room at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw it from week 1 all the way through, their week 15, their 14th game of the year this year.
Yeah.
It was the erosion of the Wunderkind